Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list update videos. Today's date is Monday, November 15th, 2021. So this will cover the week of November 8th through November 14th of 2021. It was a relatively productive week as I achieved my 550th Platinum Trophy. So a bit of a milestone. I only count my milestones as every 50. Some people count them for every 100. Some people count them for every even, 10 or 25 or whatever. So I usually count mine for every 50. And yeah, it was Far Cry 6. Also got started up here on Aliens Colonial Marines, but we will talk about that in a moment. So let's start out with Far Cry 6. So the Platinum Trophy for Far Cry 6 is relatively easy overall, as with most Far Cry games, as everything can be done on the story difficulty, as it's called. Now, I completed the entirety of the Platinum on Action mode, but there's no need to do that. I also went a little bit above and beyond on a lot of stuff. I went and got all the outfits and all that kind of stuff, so all the extra stuff I went and did, just because I was enjoying the game enough and wanted to complete everything as much as possible. Feeling like the completionist over here. But anyway, for the Platinum Trophy, you're going to get a story-related trophy here. That's the first trophy you're going to get. I'm surprised it's that rare, actually, because, I mean, you get it for, like, literally starting the game. Finding your way to Miami. This one is pretty simple. It's actually the secret ending, so they actually put in a trophy for the secret ending this time. You just have to get a boat or a plane and fly off the side of the map to get the secret ending. Now, by the way, the solo campaign only, I don't know if I mentioned this in the Platinum 550 video, but for these trophies, they either mean that you can only get the trophy while playing alone, or that if you're playing with co-op, only the host gets them. I can't remember which trophies are which. I think some are one way and some are the other, because I don't think your story progress carries over between your co-op sessions. I think you can really just jump into co-op to help with the gameplay elements and do the special operations. But you have 4 more story-related trophies here for completing the game, so nothing missable there. And I mean, the game doesn't have anything truly missable, but there are a few trophies, such as the one we're on right now, Ninjarilla, that are going to be a little bit problematic if you don't knock them out during your main playthrough. So for this trophy, you have to capture an F&D base, this game's version of Outposts, without being detected. Now, this is a typical Far Cry trophy, and it's pretty easy overall. Like, there's a few different bases you can do it at. However, unlike the other Far Cry games, there's no real way to reset bases in this game the way that you could in previous ones. Sort of how Far Cry 3 started a while back. Because, like, with Far Cry 3 originally, you couldn't reset the outposts. Eventually it changed, but for, like, the first however many months you couldn't. So do keep this trophy in mind, because if you don't do it then, you'll have to do it during an Insurgency challenge, which is going to be a lot harder because the enemies are going to be tougher. There's going to be more of them. There's going to be Special Forces guys, and not every base is ideal for this. I did mine somewhere. It was one of the more remote bases. It was in like a fort or something. It wasn't the one that PowerPix did for his video, but I did it a few times actually, because I cleared 3 or 4 bases without being detected. It's not terribly difficult. There's a good number of places where you can do it at. You have to capture a base with a co-op partner. This is the only true multiplayer trophy. It was actually one of the last trophies I earned. Then you have to capture all the bases. There's like 20-something of them. Nothing to worry about there. For this one, you have to find 3 of the F&D resource vehicles of any type and return them in mint condition, so you can get out, use your repair tool to repair them as needed. You have to capture 10 checkpoints, blow up 16 anti-aircraft cannons, intercept 10 military supply drops. Those are all activities that you can find around the map, much like the F&D bases. There's more than 10, 10, and 16 of these, so there are more than you have to do for the trophies, but I recommend doing most of them just because they get you extra items and get you more freedom to move around the map a little more easily. The Yarn Story Triada Blessings is one of the Yarn Stories. It's a set of 3 of them where you have to go do 3 different tasks and then you go back and fight like a little mini boss, and this one gets you a lot of good rewards, so it's definitely worth doing. You have to win a cockfighting match, which is done at the Monteros headquarters on the left side of the map. Pretty simple there. You have to complete 3 Grand Premios, or you can complete the same one 3 times if you want. You have to win a game of dominoes, which is done at the Patriots Point in the bottom right side of the map, I believe. You have to complete a special operation. I will come back to these later, though. The Bandito operations are little passive missions that you can do where you send like one of your leaders and some soldiers with them to go and like do their own thing, and then you have to make choices for them after a time limit has passed. It can get you some decent rewards. It's a decent little feature. The vehicle machete kill from a horse is very easy. The 49 unique weapons, as long as you follow a collectible guide, you shouldn't have a problem with these. For this one, you have to fully upgrade one camp facility in any guerrilla camp. This one actually glitched on me originally, but it's because of those issues I was having with my PS4 at the time. So this one's actually very easy, just fully upgrade any one of the 6 facilities. This one also glitched on me, and this one I actually ended up having to start a new save file to do, hence why it was so much later than some of these other trophies. It's not difficult because you can purchase 6 of the, or you purchase I think 5 of the Supremos. Along with purchasing 5 of them, you get like one of them right at the beginning for free. You purchase the others with the depleted uranium, and then you get the last one by doing the Triada Blessings side quests. So it took a few extra hours, but it's nothing too difficult. You have to purchase 15 meals. This one is very easy. Just use the camp facility that allows you to cook, although you do have to have certain animal meats to do it. The USB sticks are a collectible type, as are the Cryptogramma chests, the rides, the roosters, and the amigos, but all of these are easy if you follow collectible guides. Then you have to pet Guapo, which is going to be one of the first trophies most people get. You have to equip Chikaron with the Mother Clucker outfit, so you just have to get Chikaron first. I think that outfit is unlocked by default. You have to distract 10 soldiers with Chorizo, which any good person should do because Chorizo is so cute and evil and deadly and cute. Then you have to take out 10 soldiers with active heat. This one's unmissable. Take out a shark with an explosion. This one's pretty easy. Once you find a shark, you can occasionally find them in swimming pools for some reason. You have to catch 10 fish. It can be the same type of fish. It can be all in the same spot. You have to take out a soldier by sabotaging an alarm, which is a little bit trickier because you need to have certain gear pieces to do it, but it's pretty easy once you have the right gear to do it. Then you have to take out 3 insurgent leaders. The insurgents are challenges that appear in the late game, or the end game, I guess you could call it, once you have completed the main story. Every week, a province of Yara will be retaken by the military, and it'll be full of special forces soldiers and, more and tougher enemies. And basically, you have to clear a certain number of checkpoints, an F&D base, and usually a couple other objectives, as well as, or anti-aircraft guns, that's what it is. At least one anti-aircraft gun, and you also end up having to do one of the special operations marked for the week, and that will spawn the insurgent leader, and then you go and take him out. So normally you're supposed to do this over the course of 3 separate weeks by killing the insurgent leader for the week and then just waiting for the next week. But there are ways you can change your calendar to do them all in 1 week. Or, if you really want to make it easier on yourself, I recommend just getting to wherever the insurgent leader is for a week, kill him, but don't complete the F&D base that he's located at, and once you kill him, then just let yourself be killed and repeat that process around 5 or 6 times until it unlocks. It tends to take about 5 or 6 attempts for most people. I think it took me like 5 to get 3 total killed, so yeah. The 10 Special Forces soldiers is unmissable. The disable and hijack a tank is easy as long as you have EMP grenades. The mythical animals are another collectible type. There are 5 of them. This one has to be done in, there's only one place I know of where you can do it at, but it's pretty easy once you know where it is. Run over 10 soldiers with a vehicle is pretty much unmissable. This one can be a little tricky because not every base has a security control center, so you have to find one that does and not be detected while you go for it. But if you do get detected, you can just immediately pause and reload your last checkpoint. This one's pretty much unmissable. You'll probably get it at some point while parachuting down at any given time. For this one, you have to kill 5 enemies using poisoned enemies. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. This one takes some time and a little bit of luck. It's not difficult necessarily, but it's a little bit finicky with the way the poison works. It doesn't always seem to work the way it should. So basically for this one, just keep poisoning everyone you come across until the trophy eventually unlocks. This one's unmissable. You'll get it during the final mission if you don't get it prior. This one's pretty easy. Just mod a resolver weapon. This one is very easy. Just build one of each camp facility. It just takes some resources. 10 parts installed on a ride. Some of them are earned by like scanning and returning vehicles. Some of them are found from Grand Premios. Reaching the rank of Commandant should come naturally while going for the Platinum, going for everything else because it's only like rank 14. Then you have the 3 Special Operations trophies. You have to complete one without the battery exceeding 50%. In the Special Operations, they're basically poorly made versions of the expeditions from Far Cry New Dawn, in which your goal is to find a battery somewhere on the map, return it to the starting point without it overheating and exploding on you, and then defending the starting point against multiple waves of enemies. So you can thankfully do this on the easiest difficulty, the normal difficulty, and if you have the parkour outfit, you'll have no problem with it, because on the normal difficulty, the battery overheats pretty slowly, especially if you have that outfit, and the enemy presence isn't really that tough either. But when you start getting to those mastery levels, it's a little something else. Then you have to locate a hidden stash of moneda by finding a secret key and then finding the stash on any special operation. Then you have to free 30 hostages during an Informants challenge, which this can only be done on Mastery Level 1 or higher. Basically, you'll find a location with some of Lola's informants. You have to free them, but there's only 3 at a time. So you have to free them, kill yourself, or restart the operation. I think you actually have to just restart the operation, and repeat until this one unlocks, so it's going to take at least a minimum of 10 times. So the Platinum is fairly rare right now, at least on here. It's like a 16-17% on PSN profiles, so I don't know if it's as rare as some of the others. I feel like this one's going to end up being a little bit rarer than some of the others, like I've said before, just because it is a little bit time-consuming with a lot of stuff to do. The 100% for sure, though, is going to be one of the rarest in this franchise, because there's already 3 DLCs. So for Salt of the Earth and Party Crasher, you have to complete 5 of the special operations on Mastery Difficulty Level 3. Mesozoica was the very first one, and it's arguably one of the harder ones. Masio isn't terrible, because it gives you a little bit more chances for shade, and it gives you all the water sources at the very end on top of the buildings. The Crocodillo or Cocodrillo, this one is a little bit hit or miss. I didn't have much trouble at all on normal, it was pretty easy, but then on the Mastery Level 1 it gave me some trouble. I highly, highly, highly recommend doing all of these on Story Mode difficulty. There's no point of doing them on Action Mode, it's not going to get you anything extra, it's just going to make your life a lot harder. And then for this one you have Los Tres Santos. This one's actually really, really easy so far. This one has been the easiest out of all of them for me so far. This one is not available at the time this is being recorded. I think it releases either sometime in November or December. And then there's also one more, so presumably that'll either get added onto Party Crasher or it'll get its own separate DLC. The Voss Insanity DLC, I think, actually releases this week. So you have to escape Voss's Mine, which is presumably a story-related trophy. You have to escape with a score of 25,000, so presumably that means it's not a particularly long DLC if there's a trophy like that. Carry 8,000 cash at one time is probably pretty easy. Discovering every location is probably pretty easy, especially if you have like a guide. Same with unlocking the weapons. You have Voss's diary pages, chibis, and visions, which are all presumably just collectible types. And then you have to fully upgrade all the weapons cases, which I assume won't be too difficult unless you need to grind like a lot of money or materials. The escaping his mind at level 5 could be tough, so it looks like you can do all these in co-op at least, so if the DLC is co-op, you might want to do that. Same with these trophies, you may want to try doing these in co-op, because normal and Mastery Level 1 is certainly doable if you have the right equipment set up. I haven't done any of them on Mastery Level 2 or 3 yet, though, and I assume they're going to be pretty tough. So I also assume that there will be more DLCs for this game, because we still have the Pagan Min and the Joseph Seed DLC, so that's going to give us 5 total. There might be a separate DLC for the 6th Special Operation when it comes out. And then there's also those 3 crossover missions that are supposed to come out throughout the next 6 months, so those could all have DLCs, even if they're only like 1 DLC trophy apiece. And then, of course, there's the very high likelihood that we eventually get some kind of New Game Plus higher difficulty trophy that gets put into like every game these days. But overall, fairly enjoyable Platinum, or very enjoyable Platinum trophy, just because I'm a big Far Cry fanboy. But if you're not a big Far Cry fan, you might not actually enjoy this game as much, because it's definitely one of the weaker entries coming from a fan of the franchise. It's definitely one of the weaker entries, so do keep that in mind. And then the other game we worked on this week was Aliens Colonial Marines, and we knocked out 25% of the trophies in about 48-hour time period from like Friday through Sunday. So it's not an overly difficult platinum. It is a fairly time-consuming one, though, and I'll get into why that is. So this is, of course, an old PS3, sort of almost cult classic, infamous type of game. Well, not like Infamous the game, it's an infamous game in the world of trophy hunting and gaming in general. So you have some story-related trophies here. Everything through here is going to unlock during your first playthrough. You have to complete all campaign levels on the Ultimate Badass difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty. It can be tough at times. You can die pretty quickly. The good thing, though, is that you can actually play the entire campaign in co-op. So you can actually play with 4 people, and I don't think the game gets any harder with 4 people in it. So that makes this a lot easier. So far, we've completed 5 missions, and only the 5th one, I think it was this Raven mission. Yeah, it was the Raven mission, gave us any trouble. The first 4 were really quite simple, and most of this one was pretty easy. But the ending of it was horrible. That boss fight with that freaking loader and everything, God, that was awful. Maybe it was just the fact that we were tired because it was late at night, but it was terrible. That one gave us, we were on that for like half an hour or more. This is a level-specific trophy for the first level. This is, I think, for the second level. And I actually did get this one. I'm not entirely sure how because we weren't specifically going for it. This is, I think, the 3rd level. I think this is the 4th level, 5th level, 6th level. This is just my guess. I could be wrong. 7th level, or no, that's not the 7th level. That's on the 2nd or 3rd level. That's an early trophy. And I think that's it for the mission-specific trophy. So you have to gib 2 enemies at once, which is actually a challenge. You have to earn rank 60 as a Marine. I'm already like rank 20-something, so this one should come fairly naturally. You have to collect all 35 dog tags and all 6 legendary weapons. That's 2 of the 3 collectible types. Just follow a guide for them and you're good to go. You have to complete all of the challenges in the game. There's close to 100 of them, and some of them are fairly annoying. Most of them aren't too bad, and most of them can be done in the single-player campaign, though some of them have to be done online, but the online ones can be done in private matches, which make them very, very easy to boost. The main issue with the challenges is that for some stupid reason, each of the 3 categories can only have 1 challenge active at once, and you can only make progress on 1 challenge at once. So you have to make your way through an entire challenge or you have to make your way through 1 challenge to be able to unlock the next one, which is really annoying. I wish you could just work on all of them at once. That would make a lot more sense. You have to get a couple of multiplayer trophies here for having another player join your party and reviving a teammate, both very easy and should come naturally. Edit a Marine and Xenomorph loadouts just going to require you to get some points. The Xenomorph is multiplayer specific, by the way. You have to upgrade every loadout slot for a Xenomorph class as well as for a weapon, and every appearance slot for your Marine. These are all just going to require you to get materials that you'll get over time by leveling up. Then you have to purchase all the upgrades for a weapon, same thing. Spending commendations, that'll come naturally while purchasing all those upgrades and such. You have to collect all 12 audio logs, that's the 3rd collectible type. You have to kill 10 Xenomorphs using vents. This one's basically unmissable, it'll just unlock naturally. You have to kill 10 with the M56A2 Smart Gun. I think this is a multiplayer specific trophy. You have to set up a remote sentry. This one I think is unmissable. You have to track 100 targets with a motion tracker. This one's easy as long as you know it's there. You have to kill 3 enemies with a single firebomb. I'm not sure what the best place to do this is, so probably later on once I get upgraded more. You have to kill a Xenomorph with a shotgun at close range. This one's unmissable. This one is probably unmissable. I'm just surprised I haven't gotten it yet. This one is probably going to unlock naturally, so you shouldn't have to worry about this one either. This one I'm not entirely sure about. That one's probably like going to be good in a specific mission. You have to kill this many Xenomorphs, which is definitely a grind, but it's going to be the last thing I go for once I've knocked out all the other trophies and the DLC for the game. You have to kill a Crusher without it damaging you. That's probably also going to be done in like a specific mission. The close encounter with a facehugger and rescuing a teammate from a close encounter should both come naturally if you're playing the game in co-op. Just because the facehuggers, they will sneak up on you at times, but you should be able to survive them as long as you have some idea that they're there and have a teammate around. The Stasis Interrupted DLC, I don't know too much about it, but it looks like you have to beat it on Ultimate Badass. You have to find the audio logs. And these are presumably both story-related trophies. So this one is apparently a miscellaneous trophy. Same with this one. That one is probably both of these are story related, so it looks like about half of them are story related. But yeah, the game, it's not bad. I've certainly played worse than this, but it is annoying at times. It is not aged particularly well. It doesn't look very good. But, you know, we're having some fun with it. Me and Ghost and Simon, are playing through it. So we're having some fun with it so far. It's not bad. But I will be slowly working on that over the next few weeks. So with that, level 746, 70%, 21,546 total trophies, 550 platinums, 3,328 golds, 5,766 silvers, 11,902 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. We are going to continue to work on Aliens, Colonial, Marines a few times this week. Otherwise, I will probably continue to work on Far Cry 6's DLC, especially if that Voss Insanity DLC comes out this week like I think it does. I think it comes out on maybe Friday. Otherwise, I don't really know what else I'm going to be playing this week. Obviously, once I get a few more platinums, we'll knock out Battlefield 5 real quick. And then there's that Resi Op Raccoon City. Actually, I need to move that from where it currently is on my list, because we're not going to start that probably until 2022. But currently, those are my plans for November. My plans for December are, of course, Division, Division 2, maybe GTA 5, maybe Battlefield 1943. I do want to get that one knocked out because it's PS3. January, Black Ops 3, and that would be pretty much it for the multiplayer stuff I'd have to do. And then I've got a few other, I guess, multiplayer games that I own that I would have to start eventually, like Dead Island Riptide on the PS4. I did purchase that because we can knock that multiplayer out in a day or like one long day of playing, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So yeah, those are the current plans, slowly working our way through these old games. It's going to be cool to have a couple of other old, sort of rarer PS3 games done. I think that'll be kind of nice to have on the list, just to up the quality of the list just a little bit. And Battlefield 1943 should be fairly fun. I have not heard the best things about Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, or the GTA Remastered trilogy, so that's interesting. There's also that Tiny Tina's Wonderland DLC, or single one-shot DLC, whatever you want to call it, so I'll have to pick that up at some point. It's only $10, so it's not too pricey. And then, of course, you know, throughout 2022, we've got all those single-player games that I need to start working on and playing through and getting those extra platinum trophies in. Some of them are shorter, some of them are longer. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. Don't know exactly what days things will be uploaded on or streamed on this week as we work our way through Aliens, Colonial, Marines. That's the last big boost I'm doing for a couple months. I don't think we're doing, like I said, Resident Evil. I don't think we're doing that one for a couple months. Unless I'm going and helping those guys with a couple of the older PS3 games that I own, which is probably going to happen with, like, Black Ops 1. Aside from that, though, it's the last big boost I plan to do for a few months, and then, you know, knock out Battlefield 5, and then not care too much about trophies for, like, a month or so after that. Just take a little bit of a break, you know, play some old fun games, stuff like that. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you back here for the next one.